The combined armies besieged Anandpur and cut off all supplies. The Guru and his Sikhs bore the extreme hardships of the long siege with unshakable courage. The attackers have begun to despair of success. They sent messengers to the Guru. The messenger said, "The Mughal governors and the hilly leaders have sworn on the Quran and the Hindu cow that if you vacate the fort will not harm them." The Guru did not have faith in them, but was prevailed upon by his mother and the others to leave the fort. When Guruji was crossing the river, Sarsa attacked him, and in this confusion Guru's mother, Mata Gujri, separated themselves from him and his Sikhs. His two youngest sons, Baba Zorawar Singh and Baba Fateh Singh, by years 7 and 9 years, were with her. In biting winter they have travelled through a dense jungle where they met Abraham, who had once been a cook in the house of the Guru. He offered them protection in his house. The mother decided to take her grandchildren with her and accept the shelter offered by Abraham. When the mother of the Guru went to sleep, he stole his wallet containing his valuables and money and buried somewhere in the house. When the mother woke up, she found the missing bag and questioned Abraham. He pretended to be furious at this and said, "So I suspect. It thinks I'm a thief. This, then, is the return that you propose to do for my service to you. I saved you from certain death. I am exposed to serious risks in giving shelter and protection. The return that you do to me for all this is that you charge me with theft. You have insulted." Mata Gujri tried to calm him, but he refused to listen and immediately went to Mohammedan Chaudhry, the village, and said that the Guru's mother and her 2 children have just arrived in his home. Mata Gujri and his 2 nephews were arrested and taken to the Nawab Wazir, governor of Sarand. Nawab ordered to be confined in a tower for her. They had to spend the night in cold December with a bare, hard floor as the bed. The next day, the 2 nephews were divided by their grandmother and were taken to the Nawab Wazir Khan's court. On reaching there, they shouted loudly in one voice, "Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh." All eyes were turned toward them. Their thin, their calm, glowing faces and their appearance fearless won the admiration of all those present in the court. Sukanand, a courtier of Nawab Ibrahim, advised the little princes to bow to the Nawab. "No," said Baba Zorawar Singh, the senior of the 2. "We have been taught to bow to anyone but God and the Guru. We do not bow to the Nawab." This bold, unexpected answer surprised everyone, and even the Nawab. He said, "The children's father and your 2 older brothers were killed in the Battle of Chamkar. They were infidels and deserved the fate. But you are lucky. Good luck has brought you to an Islamic darbar. Embrace Islam, and become one with us. You will be given the wealth, rank and honor, and you will live a good life. You will be honored by the emperor. If you say no to my offer, you will be treated as they are treated infidels and be put to death." Baba Zorawar Singh, watching his younger brother, said in a whisper, "My brother, the time to sacrifice our life has arrived. What do you think we should respond?" Baba Fateh Singh, who was only 6 years old, then replied, "Dear brothers, our grandfather, Guru Tegh Bahadur, divided with the head. He has steadfastly refused to part with his religion. We should follow his example. We have received the baptism of the Spirit and the sword. We are the lions of the Guru. Why should we fear death? The best thing is that we must give our lives for the good of our religion." Then Baba Zorawar Singh raised his voice and said to Nawab, "It said that our father was killed. That's a lie. He is alive and still make a fair amount of work in this world. He shook your empire at its root. Know that we are the children of the man who at my age sent his father to sacrifice his life in Delhi. We reject your pleasures offered. It was the custom of our family to give birth, but do not give faith. Let your sword do the job. We invite you to do your worst." These words alone were enough to inflame the haughty Nawab. But Suchanand chose to pour oil on the fire and said, "This is their behavior at this tender age. What will be when they grow up? They will follow his father's example and destroy the imperial armies. The descendants of the cobra must be crushed." The Nawab said that you are true and wise, but I want you to embrace Islam. We give them a bit of time to think and see their grandmother. We will try again tomorrow to make them yield. Then he said to the two brothers who do not want to act fast and give you a bit of time to reflect on it. If you refuse, you will be giving the torture that your cries will be heard far and wide, and then it will be cut into pieces. Then he ordered to bring them back to the tower where Mata Gujri was waiting for their enthusiasm. A look at their faces convinced her that had kept firm in their faith, and she said a short prayer of thanks to God. Then he rushed towards them and hugged them both with love in the chest. Their seats on her lap asked them to tell her what had happened. Baba Zorawar Singh told all to his grandmother. Mata Gujri was immensely pleased to hear what his grandchildren told her. Then they said that you should behave tomorrow in the same way as you did today. Remember your grandfather's example and teachings. If you torture, praying to God for strength and think about your grandfather. And the next day, when they were presented before the Nawab, he gave them the same threats and made them the same offer if you embrace Islam, but they refused his offer. Suchanand backed down the Nawab to give them the death penalty. But the latter has decided to give them more time to do more. He still had hope that they would surrender. The following day they were taken to court for the third time. The Nawab once again gave them the same offer, and courageous sons of Guru Gobind Singh gave the same answer as on the two previous occasions. Then the Nawab pretends to be nice. He softened his voice and said that I hesitate to give orders to your death. By the way, what would you do if you were to give your freedom? The bold brave guys said we would collect our Sikh, provide them with weapons of war, the fight against you and put you to death. The Nawab said if they were defeated in the fight, what would you do then? The boys said that we would collect back our armies and either you kill or be killed. Now the Nawab's fake kindness was gone and he ordered his men to live brick boys. Under the orders of Nawab, part of the outer wall of the fort he was pulled down and the children were made to stand in the gap thus created. The Pathans were nearby and had swords on the shoulders of children. Masons were ordered to erect a wall around children. He was told to make sure that the brick wall and press tightly against their bodies. After each layer of Qaz he urged them to accept Islam, but the guys standing calm and quiet. They were committed to acting Japuji and other hymns of Guru. When they were buried in the wall up behind the Nawab, he came him and urged them to accept Islam to save their lives. The boys were calm and shook their heads. The children were martyred. When the news of his martyrdom reached the Mata Gujri said, "Oh my dear, take me with you. Now that you're gone, what I have left to do? My soul, fly after them at the Father Merciful. Oh my dear, we shall meet again in our true home." On the spot where the three bodies were cremated it was later built a church Sikhism Jodi Sarip. The place where the two were alive walled church called Fatehgarh Sahib. Nearby, at the site of the tower, a bird, in which the three were imprisoned and where Mata Gujri breathed his last, there is a church called Mata Gujri Tower, a bird.